Hey there, it's me. Crows are one of my favorite animals in the world. But do not let that bias influence your decision on whether or not you want to be reincarnated as a crow, because they have it pretty rough. Here's why it would absolutely suck to be born as a crow. When you think of beautiful birds, you might picture exotic birds like peacocks or flamingos or maybe even rainbow lorikeets. But crows, they're just black and kind of ugly. Now, some people might say beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all that, but I'm talking about what other animals see when they look at crows. Crows are just black blobs that are flying around. And this is especially true during the winter, when they lose their iridescent feathers. So come winter, crows end up looking like this. Crows often get killed by predators, especially when they're babies. Eagles, hawks, falcons, owls, foxes, coyotes, snakes, domestic dogs and cats, bears and minks all prey on baby crows. Even chipmunks will eat baby crows. Adults have a better chance against most predators, but they still need to watch out for eagles and great horned owls. When a great horned owl does decide to hunt a crow, the crow stands no chance. The owl can swoop down from above, snatch the crow out of mid-flight, and consume it before it ever has a chance to react. There's nothing more humiliating than being taken out by an owl while you're flying. You could just see it coming. You could change course and escape. It's like letting your guard down and getting sacked by a linebacker when you in the end zone. You should have seen it coming. Could have prevented it, but nope, you didn't. You got cocky and paid the price. And crows have to deal with a lot of other threats besides predators. People love killing crows, either because they want to prevent them from eating their livestock, or simply because people enjoy shooting things. In some places, crows are considered pests, and pest control companies will poison them or trap them and relocate them. But relocating crows is kind of pointless, since they tend to just fly back home. Relocated crows also sometimes take over nests of other birds, which means eggs get smashed and baby birds get eaten. Even if they manage to avoid being poisoned, trapped, relocated, eaten, or shot, crows still live in a world full of dangers. Windows can kill them, power lines can electrocute them, cars can smash them, and fences can decapitate them. House cats hunt crows for fun, and they have plenty of ways to kill them, including batting them off of ledges or simply catching them. While house cats usually only kill small birds for fun, crows are big enough that cats need to be careful when taking them on. But this means that crows have to put up with cats trying to hunt them on a regular basis. Even without all these outside threats, crows still have to deal with parasites and diseases that weaken them and make them sick. They also starve when there isn't enough food. And if the weather gets too cold, they can freeze to death. But okay, let's say you're a crow and you manage to survive all those threats. Maybe you've even made it to the ripe old age of 20. How good does your life actually feel? Well, probably not that great. First off, you can't really do anything besides fly and make a bunch of noise. I mean, sure, you're smart enough to open doors and unscrew jar lids, but that's about it. Oh wait, no. You're also capable of complex social interactions, which means you get to deal with a lot of drama. Now, this won't happen in a typical flock of wild crows, but captive crows can develop affection for their caretakers. This is a good thing until one of the caretakers gets fired or quits. If a crow develops an attachment to a person, it can become severely depressed when that person leaves. One captive crow reportedly went on a hunger strike after its caretaker left. It refused to eat for a whole year and died. That's right. A crow would rather starve to death than live without its favorite human. But unfortunately, this doesn't normally happen in nature, where crows typically live in flocks of 10 to 30 birds. Life in a crow flock is much more like life in high school. Sure, you might have your best friends, but there's also a lot of rivalries and fighting. Crows use a variety of vocalizations to communicate, including alarm calls to warn each other of predators, contact calls so they know where each other are, and scolding calls to tell other birds to stay away. They also have aggressive calls that they use when warning rivals to stay out of their territory. And they also have begging calls that they use when asking for food. These calls are especially annoying to fellow crows since begging is a sign of weakness. And if you beg, other crows will be eager to attack you and steal your food. Even though crows are very smart, they aren't exactly honest with each other. Sometimes when a crow gives another crow the begging call, it will pretend that it has food when it doesn't. This tricks other crows into giving it food. Also, even if you are strong enough to defend your food, that doesn't mean that you can keep it for long. Sometimes crows will steal each other's food just for fun. Crows also have to deal with their worst enemy, the jays. Jays harass crows, and sometimes even attack them just for fun. When they do attack crows, they don't hold back. They dive bomb them, peck them, pull out their feathers, and mob them with other jays. They will literally gang up on crows. And when a group of jays targets a crow, the crow has no choice but to flee. It's not all bad news, though. Life as a crow isn't totally horrible. For one thing, crows are extremely smart, can recognize themselves in mirrors. They have excellent memories and they can plan for the future. They can also solve mazes, distinguish human faces, and learn new tasks quickly. They were so smart that they could probably get jobs at banks or law firms if they had thumbs. Crows are also great parents. Male and female crows share parenting duties equally and will take turns sitting on the eggs and protecting their young. Baby crows are weaned onto solid foods when they're about 2 months old, but their parents continue to bring them food until they're 6 months old. Crows also have pretty cool homes. Crow nests are large, sturdy structures that can last for years. Since they build their nests in tall trees, they're safe from most ground predators. And although JS will happily destroy their nests, crows usually build multiple nests and will switch to a new one if their nest gets destroyed. The next reason it would suck to be a crow is because they poop everywhere. Like all birds, crows have a special gland near their tail that secretes oil. This oil helps keep their feathers waterproof, but it also makes them smell terrible. To compensate for this, crows will defecate on their own territory to mark it as theirs. They'll even defecate on objects that are already there. To make matters worse, their poop sticks to their oil-covered feathers, making them stink even more. If you've decided that being a crow isn't so bad after all, consider that being a crow in America sucks extra hard. In some countries, crows are considered sacred, but in America, they're generally reviled. It hasn't always been this way. In the past, Native Americans kept pet crows and respected them as messengers between the physical world and the spirit world. But European settlers demonized crows, claiming that they were witches in disguise and that they carried disease and bad luck. Of course, they also claimed that Native Americans were witches in disguise, so I wouldn't exactly call them reliable sources, but people still associate crows with bad luck. Some believe that seeing a lone crow predicts death in the family. Others say that if a crow lands on your car, you're going to get bad news. This is nonsense, but it means that crows get harassed by people extra hard in America. But hey, at least they don't have any enemies. Wait, yes they do. People. Not all people, of course, but enough people that it's a real problem. Some people think that crows steal shiny objects just for fun, but the truth is, they steal them to add them to their territory. They don't actually play with their shiny toys. They simply hoard them to protect their territory from invaders. But even though crows know that people are dangerous, they still try to steal our stuff. People are big, smart, and mean, yet crows still act aggressively towards us. If a crow feels that you're invading its territory, it might try to bite you or scratch you up. And they're not afraid to go after you if you're trying to save a baby crow. Adult crows will attack anyone who tries to touch their young. So remember when I said that crows can't really do anything besides fly, make noise and open doors and unscrew jar lids? Well, it turns out they're good at stealing things too. Now check out why being born as a frog would actually be amazing, or click this other video instead.